What if I told you the Renaissance happened 1,000 years early? What if I told you you could have been born in a world where Da Vinci invented Wi-Fi? What if the Dark Ages never happened? Okay, maybe not Wi-Fi, but imagine a world where knowledge never dimmed, where books weren't burned, and Europe didn't hit the intellectual snooze button for half a millennium. Today on History Remix, we're cracking open one of the biggest what-ifs in Western history. What if there was never a Dark Age? Buckle up, it's going to be a bright ride. Bring sunglasses. First off, historians debate the term Dark Ages like it's pineapple on pizza. Some say it's misleading, Eurocentric, and way too dramatic. But traditionally, it refers to the period between the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD and the rise of the High Middle Ages, around 1000 AD. Now, Europe didn't literally go dark. There weren't dragons torching libraries, though we did get Beowulf. But something big did collapse. The Roman Empire had been a kind of ancient internet, connecting cities, people, ideas, goods. When it fell, roads fell apart, cities shrank, and suddenly nobody was fixing aqueducts anymore. Think of it as unplugging the Wi-Fi router of civilization. Literacy rates tanked. Trade routes disappeared. Scientific inquiry dried up. Most people couldn't read. The few books that survived were locked in monasteries, written in Latin, copied by monks slower than a dial-up modem. Europe wasn't a ghost town, but it sure wasn't a tech hub either. Add to that warlords, tribal invasions, famine, plague. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Europe may have hit the brakes, but the rest of the world? Full throttle. In the Islamic Golden Age, algebra, optics, hospitals, libraries the size of airports. In China, block printing, gunpowder, the compass, massive urban centers, Confucian exams. In India, advances in medicine, mathematics, zero, architecture, and philosophy. Europe? Still trying to figure out how not to burn down their own villages. This wasn't a global dark age. It was Europe hitting pause while others hit fast forward. So why did the lights go out? A few big culprits. Collapse of Rome. No more roads, aqueducts, central bureaucracy, just warlords and fractured kingdoms. Religious dominance. The church preserved some knowledge, but also put limits on inquiry. Books were filtered through theology. Constant invasions. It was a historical game of whack-a-mole. Nobody had time for math when barbarians were at the gates. Plagues and climate trouble. The 6th century Justinian plague? A real party killer. Combine that with a mini ice age, and farming became survival horror. All right, now let's jump to the alternate timeline. Cue the harp sound effect. What if Rome never fell? What if the church had embraced science early? Let's say, for whatever reason, Europe doesn't hit pause. What happens? The Renaissance arrives. 1,000 years early. Imagine Da Vinci in 400 AD, sketching helicopters with ink and quill, designing tanks before stirrups are widespread, Galileo with a telescope in 600, Newton dropping apples and inventing calculus by 700. By 800 AD, we're having Enlightenment debates over free speech and reason, while everyone else is still wearing chainmail. The Industrial Revolution kicks off by 900. Steam engines before the Crusades. AI debates begin by 1200. iPhones by 1400. With Latin Siri. Global exploration. On turbo mode. With advanced navigation and shipbuilding, Europe discovers the Americas by 800 to 900 AD. But here's the twist. So does China, and the Islamic Caliphate, and India. The age of discovery turns into an early global meetup. Columbus, Ibn Battuta, and Zheng He all show up at the same beach party, and no one brought sunscreen. Early contact could mean earlier trade, more cooperation, or just faster colonization. Colonialism gets complicated. If Enlightenment values rise before imperialism, maybe conquest looks different. Could there be a gentler, more ethical expansion of empires? More diplomacy? Early human rights charters? Or Just the same horrors, but with better logistics and early propaganda memes. Science plus religion equals friends? Imagine monasteries becoming early research universities, monks in lab coats, Bibles next to beakers, solar-powered stained glass. With thinkers like Abelard, Aquinas, and Hildegard of Bingen emerging earlier, maybe theology doesn't fear science, it funds it. We've harnessed the power of the sun to bake Eucharist bread faster. Democracy, philosophy, and rights. Sooner Cicero, Plato, Aristotle. Their ideas don't sit on a shelf for 1,000 years. Magna Carta signed in 600? Trial by jury in 700? Women's suffrage by 1,000? Slavery abolished by 1,100? Maybe. Or maybe power just finds new ways to abuse. Even in a smarter world, humans are still, well, humans. A truly global scientific network. By the year 950 AD, picture this. A global scientific conference. Indian mathematicians sharing equations with Arab astronomers. Chinese engineers building telescopes with Greek physicists. Knowledge isn't hoarded, it's shared. Imagine a UNESCO of the ancient world. If the Dark Ages never happened, today might be the year 3525. We could be a Type 1 civilization controlling planetary energy, colonizing the stars since the 1700s, living with AI for centuries, solving climate change in 1750 with green steam engines, healing cancer before the birth of Shakespeare, or wiped out by robot overlords in the 1400s. Faster growth equals faster risk. Here's the paradox. Maybe the slowdown helped us. Think. Some knowledge was preserved because it was hidden. Decentralized Europe allowed diverse cultures to rise. Christianity's dominance shaped the Western moral code, for better or worse. Maybe if history had moved too fast, we would have choked on progress. Sometimes, the seed needs the dark to grow roots. History isn't just about what happened, it's about what could have happened, and why it didn't. In a world without a dark age, we might have reached the stars early. But maybe, just maybe, our struggle through the dark taught us to better appreciate the light. So ask yourself, are we still living in a dark age of our own making? Or is the next Renaissance just around the corner? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more History Remix.